The Beyond the Ropes podcast is proud to support the Kai and Prince Foundation. Go to www.thekpf.com to donate or support the foundation on their mission of bringing people together to end violence. Founder, Dr. Mark Prince's best-selling book, The Prince of Peace, is available on Amazon and other major retailers.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat your children.
Let's get ready to rumble! But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hi and welcome to Beyond the Ropes. This is me, Michael Prime, joined today, full team, absolutely amazed. Sean Mansfield, David White, Dwight Best, if he's awake.
I'm awake.
He's there. He's there. If you heard him last week, he has woken up since then, so it's all good. There wasn't anything particularly wrong.
Well, I'm not as depressed. Well, until when the United game's over, I might be a bit more depressed.
I know, we might have about another 4 minutes of Dwight with a bit of anticipation still. Before we jump into recapping last weekend's Matchroom card, which had a lot of talking points, we had a good question come in, and I felt it was a fair one. That we are not a historical podcast. We don't really talk about stuff that's old. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, we don't really talk about like
stuff we don't know
stuff
a
that's
lot
been
about.
going on
exactly,
around
and I
the
think
moment.
we, rather than pretend that we do know a lot about things all the time.
Yeah.
Well, we do. I mean, we do that enough, but things that people can factually check quite quickly, we probably usually steer clear of. But this question came in from Tony Moss 15, at Tony Moss 15, and it's when the list of greatest ever heavyweights is discussed, why is Rocky Marciano always left out? He says, I appreciate yours is not a historical pod, but wondered what all of your thoughts are. Now, I prepped Sean and Dwight on this question because they were here on time. So we had some thoughts on it before we put the mics there. But seeing as David was late, Dave, why is Marciano never discussed?
I'm just thinking that was my dad's generation. Do you know what I mean? I'm only like, obviously I know he's a great. I think I've seen about a dozen clips of him, but I've never been able to say I've seen a full fight. I've heard and read about him. And my dad would probably be able to speak a lot more about him than I ever will. But I think it's just more of a generation thing. If it was more, the ones that stick in our head in my mind are always going to be the Muhammad Ali's, the Foremans. Then moving nearer to us, you got the Lewises, the Tysons, the Holyfields, and then obviously the younger lads from younger than us will have maybe the Klitschko's, the Hayes.
Controversial.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm with you there. That's fine. It's fine.
But outstanding heavyweights that will be in the forefront of their mind. The Joshuas, obviously the Wilders and the Furies. So yeah, I think he probably is one of the best out there. But because I haven't really seen many fights of his, full fights, he's never going to be mentioned in that because he's not going to be one that springs to my mind straight away. Whereas the others, I've seen clips, I've seen full fights. I know a lot more about him. I've heard more about him. So that would probably be my reason why he's probably never in the all-time great lists. Well, even though he deserves to be.
We looked at it. Box Rec have got him ranked as, what was it, 8th? The 8th greatest heavyweight of all time.
Who are the 7 ahead?
Well, no, don't complicate this now.
Oh,
I think if you look at it, everyone else had their rivals and their matchups. Ali had his matchups. He had something about him, didn't he? I mean, Rocky Marciano, there's nothing that massively sticks out. Like to say, I don't know. There's nothing. everyone had their own little blips and glamours about them. Like, there's nothing. I can't say anything like that jumps out of you apart from the fact he was unbeaten.
Yep, 49 not out.
Yeah.
I think was it Sean, when you were saying before, had he only how many defences did he have of his title?
I think it's only what did it say, 6 or 7. Yeah, I think I'm like Dave. I've hardly seen any actual clips of him fighting from other than clips. I don't think I've seen much at all.
Full fights. I haven't seen one full fight.
But you hear about him, and it's like he wasn't the best fighter going. It was almost like he was a bit of a slugger.
Yeah,
and he was just an amazing, like short, small for a heavyweight.
Yeah, like if you was to put him in with heavyweights nowadays,
he wouldn't be.
And I think the problem he had is that the generation, or not even the generation, the batch of fighters that came relatively quickly after his era, I don't think he would have fared very well against any of them.
Yeah, and that was a.
I mean, if no one came along for 30 years, I think he would have looked better in hindsight.
And kind of agreeing and adding to what you've just said, it's like that generation after that is where it seemed to be that was the showcase.
Yeah. And I don't think he would have been able to mix it with any of them.
Interesting.
I think they would have beaten everyone that he beat pretty comfortably, and I don't think that he would have been a favourite against any of them.
So my 2 bets obviously having the advantage of looking at his box rec record here is that in his 49 fights, and this is I'm just going to estimate this because I'm not going to take the time to count it, but he fought at Rhode Island Auditorium maybe 42 times, and the other ones were in New York, New Bedford. So he didn't really travel. I know this is the 40s going into the 50s. All right.
I guess the question is like, was there anyone in his era that he didn't fight that he should have? Because we can't like judge him as well for lack of credible wins just because there weren't any people around. Like who? Yeah. Like obviously we don't know the answer, but I guess if you can look back and say, oh, he was undefeated, but he didn't fight.
He fought Joe Louis, but that's one of them ones. Does anybody actually know how old Joe Louis was? I know they love to run that joke in Coming to America that he was like 145 or something when he came back to fight him. Jersey Joe Walcott as well. So there are names in and about it, but I think for our generation, like you said, the names that came after him were the highlight names of the heavyweights for a long time as well. I mean, you think of it,
all had their feuds.
That's it,
like,
and
it wasn't just all aimed at Ali. It was Foreman and Lewis.
And you remember the heavyweights that came afterwards, the Alis, the Frasers, Foremans, that spanned for 20 odd years. It started in the 60s, and some of them were still fighting. Early 80s. Obviously, there were more fighters coming around that time, but
I mean, I think a good comparison might be Deontay Wilder and Marciano. That's, I think, a fair comparison. Yeah. That they probably at the moment, if Wilder fights Joshua or Fury and loses his belt and never gets the title again,
would be comparable. Yeah.
He'd have a similar number of defences and and you could look back and say he was a slugger, pretty much.
And that he didn't fight very far out of his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking through this, I can't see anything. I think the furthest he travelled was the Bronx, and so he fought in Philadelphia. But I mean, we're not. Ali obviously he was the star of the sport, but he travelled the world to fight people. Yeah. Like he fought here. Obviously, he fought in Africa a few times.
There's character as well. There's something about him, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Now, I'm not to say that maybe he didn't have that because obviously people talk about him for a reason. But I personally, I don't remember anyone telling me as I was growing up, he did this, he did that. It was always. But it maybe again, like my parents, maybe that was a bit before their time. I mean, he was fighting before my dad was born.
But I think from whatever you hear from these old sort of like boxing historians, it almost seems as though his record was better than his ability.
Yeah.
Not in terms of his wins, just his actual numerical record. Yeah. Like to finish undefeated doesn't mean he was great.
Well, listen, there are lots of people out there like that. Wilder got to 35-0 without having fought
anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. It can be done.
People still question Kawasaki.
I'm not getting into this again. I'm not getting into it again.
I'm not one of them.
I think in closing, we just don't really know enough about him to talk about him. But I think like when other people discuss him as well, I think that's probably what it is. I just think it's a generational thing. Maybe too much time has passed for him, and the people that came after him were
great.
People that somewhat
They
transcended the sport.
They were showmen. They might not have even been great. They were more of a showman. Like I don't hear, like you said, just like you just said, you didn't hear any stories about Rocky Marciano. You know, he was amazing at doing this. I remember when he made this guy look like an idiot. It wasn't like that. You had those sort of guys 10, 15 years later. So that's why he's never ever really mentioned in the same breath as these boys. So
it's probably the opposite, wasn't it? It's probably like he was
Head
probably on the
down.
receiving end of that sort of like treatment, and then he'd find a way to win like through grit and determination sort of thing.
So
Fair play. Right, well, yeah, great question, Tony. By all means, send us in more like that. It'll just inspire us to go and do some more research and give you an excuse to watch more
I'm gonna
boxing.
go watch as many Marcel and come back next week and be like, now fuck me, he was amazing.
No, you're going to come back next week and be like, fuck all on YouTube about this guy. Was he even a boxer?
Yeah, true. Did he even have any fights? No, true.
Okay, so the Matchroom card at the weekend, marred with controversy at times, some excellent fights. Everybody, can we just get everybody's highlight of the night?
Of the year?
Yeah, come on.
From Fowler. Losing.
Specifically. Come on, I'm just say it. Come on.
Well, losing. In that fashion as well, especially with the way the scorecards were.
We'll talk about scorecards in a minute.
No, but it makes it better in a way.
For me, it's when Fowler was on his knees. He was just on his knees. He was just like his face. He just shaking his head. And I thought to myself, "That's what happens, mate. You know, he's a bit too cocky about the whole thing, man.
Chat shit.
Yeah.
Get blasted.
Straight up.
It's funny because I was actually like not a fan of Fowler's, but I thought he was better than that. I thought he was going to win. I thought he was going to blast him out. I was looking at Fitzgerald's record beforehand. I was going, how do you draw more fights? Like, how have you drawn so many fights in such a relatively short career? And I was like, nah. I don't
50-50s, mate.
Not that not that I didn't give him a chance. I was just like, nah, I think Fowler's going to finish him late rounds. And I was quite surprised. It's quite a good tear up.
One of them's been wrapped up in cotton wool, and the other one, you know what I mean, has been out there like.
Yeah, but you see Eddie Hearn straight on the next day. He's like, and then we're going to sort him out with a nice fight against Ted Cheeseman, and I was just like,
Cheeseman's face hasn't even the swelling hasn't even gone from that last beating he took.
Have you seen Scott Fitzgerald?
Yeah, he
Wow.
did. I was quite shocked when you see
His eyes
Fowler the next day and then you saw Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
You would struggle to guess who won that fight.
To be honest, I've seen Fowler on his Instagram or so, and he's taken it quite well. I think he's
got no choice now.
He had to. I think
he had that little apple pie. Didn't he? I've got my humble pie for today.
Yeah, and there was a few people smashing Instagram straight away, and Twitter and all that. And
listen, if you give it out
the
way he has consistently,
he has
for the last, we're talking 2 years. Like he's not a popular guy.
But in the boxing circle though, like there's other boxers that he's dug out, and they were straight onto him, which fair play.
Listen, and it's one of those ones. In the long run, it might work out really well for him.
Exactly.
I feel it's very much like him and Fitzgerald are like Groves and DeGale here. They fought quite early in their careers. They'll both go off and do their other things now.
It won't
and
matter
always,
too much. Yeah.
It'll always be, can we go back and do that again? But a couple of things that I took from that fight, I was just made up that he'd beaten him anyway, because like I said, Fowler he winds me up. And I don't know what it is. I've said it before, like not wanting to go about football. Like he's a Liverpool lad, he's a Liverpool fan. I should warm to him. I don't.
No.
The more he speaks, I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, he has got that arrogance that maybe a 20 wins under your belt fighter should have.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with arrogance. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that at all. I just think, like, when you're fighting the fighters, the level of opponents he's fighting, and he's talking like, come on, man, like. And
it's all the other stuff, like the hitting on the ground and all that sort of. Like, there's too many little things that have really wound me up about him all the way through. I'll tell you what though, the commentary for that was one of the worst I have ever heard.
I'm telling you,
It was unbelievable.
I won't really.
they were just talking about shots that Fowler was not even throwing. I was just like,
Tremendous work from Fowler there.
I was-
He just got punched. He's rocked.
I had it. Do you know what? I had it on really low, so I didn't. I basically was watching it without commentary.
I think Adam Smith was afraid to look at Fitzgerald again. He doesn't want a court order coming into him. Have you seen that little video of him where Fitzgerald had to
creepy
strip
Adam.
off on
Yeah,
he
I've
had to
seen
strip
that.
off on the scales, and he was completely naked, and Adam Smith just kind of follows him all the way around, and then turns away and kind of smiles at the camera. And you're like, yeah,
Creepy Adam.
all right, mate. Won't be doing that again around you. Yes, I think he was afraid to look at him now, but it was terrible that Fitzgerald was landing great crisp combinations, and they were like, tremendous work from Fowler. And you're like, what are you?
Wrong shorts, mate. Wrong shorts.
But then I seriously thought that when the scores came in, one of them gave it to Fowler. You're like, do you know which one is which? And just want to check because it's happened before. Obviously, are you sure you had that the right way around?
Yeah.
And I think I tweeted it before the decision came out. I was like, Fowler to win, even with the knockdown. And then when that first score came out, I was like, oh my god, it's going to happen. But they did kind of bring it back.
Turn it around, yeah. It was interesting because I was watching it and I was thinking, as much as I was trying to, because I didn't have the commentary going on, it was quite interesting, like just to think about my own scoring. And my own scoring, I was like, I don't know if I'm being too harsh. I don't know if I'm being. And then the knockdown, like I had it Fitzgerald by 3, and then the knockdown, it was by 5.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've been way too harsh, and then there's come in. I was like, oh, maybe not there. I feel alright. I feel alright about myself now. I was like, I'm happy with that. 5 rounds, probably deserved that.
What do you reckon happened to Fowler? Like, did he just gas himself out, or was he just not
think-
good enough?
I just think he expected to do him.
He went for it in the first 3 rounds, didn't he?
Yeah, I think
he
he
won
just
the first 3
expected
rounds.
to take him out. I think he knew. Obviously, they've been around each other for a fairly long time in the amateurs and GB team. I think he knew Fitzgerald's weaknesses, but I think he expected Fitzgerald to come in and probably do what he wanted him to do. Didn't happen, so then his B plan wasn't good enough either.
Yeah, I think he's too concerned about like what people think about him. Like he's trying to like this whole machine thing.
Team machine.
And you know, like he just seems like I suppose a bit like Eubank Jr. He just seems to be always like almost like pretty much in shape, like fight shape.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. You're never really giving your body a rest. It seems like he's always sort of. He gives the impression he's always pushing it harder than everyone else.
Yeah, and you that's like you just hit it on the nail. I think if you're in peak physical condition, out of the gym, in the gym, out of the gym, like don't give your body any rest.
Yeah.
You what's the point of being in that sort of condition and not being able to do 12 rounds easily?
You're gonna be knackered, aren't you?
Yeah.
At the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no second wind. There's no, for me, it's almost like he was too fit and it killed him. But do you know it? No, but where he's draining his body constantly in and out of it, in and out. You know
that you just said that you saw him the next day tweeting. He's all right.
Yeah, he's fine. But I don't know. It probably didn't sound right, but
It didn't.
There's no probably about it. It definitely.
when he yeah, fuck it.
Do you want to write down what you want to say first?
I think he needs to just take a bit of time out of the gym.
I think you need to take a bit of time away from the
But he
bike.
probably wastes a lot of like energy in terms of like not playing to the crowd, but like just generally in the build up to fights and afterwards. He's always interested in what people think of him.
I think you're right. He wastes a lot of energy, in my opinion. He tries to be antagonistic. I think you've hit the nail on the head when you said it's like the Eubank Jr. thing. I think Eubank Jr. is very clever. He says things that he knows piss people off, but then he also says things that are sensible. So it polarizes people. That's why there's nowhere in the middle with him. People either love him or they hate him.
Yeah.
And I think Fowler's trying to get that same sort of thing, but I don't think there's too many people that are falling into that I really like this guy camp at the minute. And I think the fight with Fitzgerald has probably pushed people even further away now, because now he's not even got that I'm the best there is around to kind of back it up. And I'm not saying he's not going to do exceptionally well. I think he probably will do. and I think Matchroom are the best people to. So they'll pull the strings. They'll get him to where he needs to be.
It's fair play that he took this fight so early. I think Matchroom put him together. It was good. It was good to see him actually fight someone that's not just going to fall over.
I think this was in terms of matchmaking from Matchroom. I think this was a mistake on their part. Simply because Fitzgerald was fighting on Facebook Live for them before. I don't think they really thought he had a chance of beating Fowler. I thought they just stick him in. He's an in-house boy. It's fine. They'll tie him over until he's ready for Cheeseman.
7 draws and 10 wins.
They were just ready for him to fight Cheeseman, and that was it. But now
they're saying Fitzgerald Cheeseman with Fowler to fight the winner, and it's all being geared up for Fowler.
You're already straight back to him.
Even though he's just lost to the one guy, and like Fitzgerald, by all accounts, could go and beat Cheeseman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones. But it'll be what? So you lose, then the geezer. I don't know. You'll have probably a fight at the same night as them two. And then you still get to fight the winner anyway.
He'll get a nice easy tune-up fight, won't he?
Yeah. But you understand that at the very top level of the sport.
Yeah, not when you're just
like if you're Carl Frampton and we're talking about them sort of fights with like Warrington and those guys. He's like, well, I've lost it, but I'm going to come back and I'll fight after you two have fought again. But not when you're at the beginning of your career. You've got to go off and make your journey again.
They've invested the money and time into him, though, haven't they? So they've got
more for you, man.
That's the one that they've got to make work.
Eddie Hearn didn't seem too happy afterwards, did he? He wasn't. Didn't look delighted.
Well, like you said, it's that money and the time. There's a lot of promotion going into Andy Fowler.
But I don't know how you feel about that. Like, if you're a promoter, how do you feel about that when, like, someone with maybe the same or even more talent doesn't put the effort in? You can't accuse him of not putting the effort in. It's just like, you might not be happy with him, but what can you criticise him for?
Not being good enough.
It's not even necessarily about criticism. It's just maybe you're not at the level I thought you were. So do I want to continue to pump money into this,
or do I send you do some?
Or do I put that money elsewhere? I think to move on to another fight, I think you're seeing that exactly now. That whole thing with Sam Eggington, where what we're talking 6 months to a year ago.
Pretty much part of the Hearn family at one point.
He was having Christmas dinner with Barry. They had matching slippers. That's how it was. That kind of shit. And now. I said it. I tweeted it. I don't even think they like him. It's like we signed Liam Smith. Fucking stick that prick in there with him.
Yeah, but they're talking. Liam Smith's pretty much their like second or third best fighter now.
Me and Dwight were talking about it just before we started recording. I was amazed by how good he was, and I don't know why, but I think it's just it shows you the level that there's a big gap between Eggington.
It's a perfect signing for Matchroom because. There's a big gap in Matchroom's stable as well that he slots into pretty well.
And he's on the brink, and he'll be there for one title fights.
He's maybe 1 or 2 fights.
Well, he's world level, isn't he? Like
exactly.
He's only lost.
Well, they kept mentioning that. I kept hearing Canelo Alvarez, and I was like,
it's only him.
He's fighting Sam Eggington.
Munguia,
Why do you keep?
And he wants to fight Munguia again. I just leave it, man.
I think you can easily chuck him out in the States as well.
Yeah, he's fought there already.
It works perfectly for him, doesn't it?
It is pretty mad that he was fighting Eggington when you think that he's lost to Canelo and Munguia and
that's what I'm saying. Sam Eggington got thrown to the lions.
Yeah, but also he probably got paid all right.
Yeah, but did you see him? Did you actually watch? Like when I was watching, I was like, this could be your last fight, mate. I'm being genuine. The way you're taking a beating now, this could be your last fight. And I just imagine his corner about to throw the towel in, and Eddie's like, no, fuck him. He's holding it behind his head. He's like, you're not throwing that yet. Give it a minute. Yeah, we go. The bell's gone. Don't worry. Give him another round. Yeah. He couldn't see out of his right eye. He was gone. Yeah. And he was just standing in the corner. And it was like watching one of those punch machines that Lomachenko does. He was just, he wasn't missing anything.
Yeah. Even when he did get stopped, there was a good angle that they showed Paul Smith, and we hammer him and everything, but even he was like looking at the ref and he was just shaking his head like, what are you doing? Like, you should have stopped this. Like, this geezer's getting a beating. And I think it was a good round or two too late. Like, he was never winning that fight. After his eye started swelling up, it was done for me.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was a mauling, and
he was just pounding him.
I felt really bad for him because, like I said, you watched it and you thought, I can't see him going out and fighting at a meaningful level again. because it was only a short. Was it like 5th round? It got stopped or something. But it was an absolute. Like I would have preferred him to come out and got sparked out in the first round. Because he actually took. He got his ass kicked.
Way too many punches. And they kept saying, "Oh, what a tremendous chin he has." No, that's bollocks, man.
You know, you get some guys that are just
a good chin
too stupid to go down.
Yeah, like just because he's got a good chin doesn't mean he can take 15, 20 head punches in a round, each round, and like, because he's standing up, he's got a brilliant chin. Nah, man,
take a knee, man.
It's dangerous.
Give yourself 10 seconds,
and it gets worse each fight that goes on after that. I mean, if that's your style, it's just going to get worse and worse.
No,
and worse.
exactly.
And this is what we said about Cheeseman after that. Was it the Garcia fight? When he was effectively blocked. He was attempting to block with his face. He was heading down to the punches.
His fight. Egerton was basically standing there. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Just sort of taking clean shots in the
just
face.
like, go on, give it to me.
Wasn't it the Malignaggi one where Malignaggi's not a massive hitter, but he literally dropped his hands and just took about 5 or 6. It was like, I don't give a shit if it's Malignaggi and you know he ain't going to knock you out. Like, that's still 5 or 6 clean punches to your head. Like, come on, mate.
For the Malignaggi fight, he had Fowler's CBD oil. So he's like, I'll be fine, don't worry about that. I can't feel it, it's fine.
Couple of rub with this.
So is Liam Smith going to fight Kell Brook?
I said to Dwight earlier on, just do it. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, just put Brook out of his misery now.
Yeah.
Just build that up as a big fight. Put it on the undercard of like an AJ fight or something. Just get them both paid and just one of them just fuck off out of it. And I think we know which one is going to be.
Yeah, I'm always going to disagree, but yeah.
And like I said, I don't mean it disrespectfully. I've said it for ages. I'm objective to Kell Brook. It's like when this was David Hay, I was like you. I was like, no, it's just not going to be the case. But objectively, when I look at Brook now, he's washed. He's done. I can't see him doing anything meaningful in the sport anymore.
When did he last fight? Let's not
spend
too long on Brook.
It was the Cypriot fella.
Oh yeah,
the stripper.
Yeah, the stripper.
What great fight!
It's got to be the longest notice anyone's ever been given. All those guys are 5'4".
But he's given them enough time to train, hasn't he?
Yeah. But yeah, let's leave him well alone. Heavyweights.
Oh, man.
So we were treated to a few interesting rounds and then a few interesting minutes.
Mike Tyson's back.
Do you know what? I think it was Steve Bunce that was saying it afterwards. He said it's a disrespect to Mike Tyson that Cash Ali will forever be known. In that same breath now, you'd be talking about fighters that have bitten their opponents and be like, oh yeah, Cash Ali, Mike Tyson, and it's like, why are we? No, yeah, you shouldn't be. A fighter of that level shouldn't be able to be spoken about in the same breath as these guys. But because of something that's happened, he will be.
It will be. That's it.
But right, bite aside, right? Can we just talk about David Price for a minute? Sean, thoughts?
He was going to lose. He was going to lose. He was definitely going to lose.
Did he not even say at the end of when they were interviewing him? He was, I don't know why he did that. He was still in the fight.
Yeah.
I was like,
he definitely was.
You should have been saying like, oh, I was coming into that like I was gonna finish him in 2 or 3 rounds, but he didn't. He goes, yeah, he was still in the fight. I don't know why.
Did you notice that guy? Every time he got hit, his sort of eyes rolled around his head. I don't know if he's got like a nervous twitch. Did you?
I thought
David Price.
I thought Price was bring up sparking him out.
Yeah.
Every time he hit Ali, he looked like he was on the go.
Yeah,
I'm not there with you.
He was leaning in, he was clinching every minute. Like
just before,
obviously. I think
just
in my head, I know that David Price was he's gonna fizzle out.
Yeah.
Well, he was happy. He was when he connected with the last one, and the geezer shook his head like that. You could see David Price was like happy that he grabbed him.
Yeah, I mean,
he was
to be honest with you, like, he was knackered
well.
Because it's hard to get David Price. Like, how tall is David Price? You can't just go up to him and grab him and push him on the floor. Like he did get pushed on the floor.
Yeah.
It's not. I reckon he was ready to go as well.
Yeah, he was. They were both tired, and I was just thinking, all this Ali has to do is survive another round or so.
That's what I don't understand.
Price
when it first happened, I thought, he's got to put another point taken off just because he pushed him over.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what he should have done. He should have just pushed him over and held him down.
Yeah.
He didn't need to buy him.
Yeah, just tire him out, because you know once he's fucked, he's done.
I loved it afterwards when Price was in his interview and he said there was a part of me that just wanted to lay him out for biting me. And I was like, you what? What are you talking about? Like that's what you were there to do.
Yeah. For the 4 rounds
before. You a few times before that as well.
I didn't see. I saw one that I was like, are they bitten him there? was on the shoulder.
Yeah.
But they said 4 times. I didn't see
I
the
felt like I maybe want to knock him out, but no, I didn't.
I know.
What an idiot.
Stop biting me or I'm going to hit you in a minute.
Yeah. Well, what are we here to do?
So you wonder what they say to him in his corner afterwards. Like, after every round, it's like, good round. Have you got enough one in you?
Yeah,
Are you alright?
It's amazing that David Price is like made for Dave Allen. It's like he's going to make Dave Allen look so good.
But you know, I remember it must have been about a year and a half ago now, where they I think Dave Allen put a picture up. They'd seen each other in Nando's or something, and you saw Dave Allen standing next to him, and the size difference was massive. But he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to fight him." And we were sitting there going, "This is ridiculous."
Dave Allen just isn't going to get knocked out in 3 rounds.
But Dave Allen will do the full 12.
That's all he needs to do, man. He just
gets past 6.
Stick in there for
Get
6
past
7
6.
rounds. Yeah.
7th round, David Price will either not get up off his stool, or he'll just fall
I
over.
reckon he'd get knocked badly out. Like, I think he'd.
Dave Allen could do. What was it? Webb?
Nick Webb.
Just overhand right.
He's
and
going to
just
dine out
David
on that
Price
knockout
is
for
gone.
his entire career.
Great knockout there.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Good.
He just has to get through Lucas Brown.
Yeah,
I think Lucas
Brown's rubbish. Isn't he?
Yeah.
You want to? Well, you can't hope so, because otherwise, Price Allen's out the window. There'll be like Price versus Brown, and somehow he'll be on a world title streak if he
there'll be a
knocks
regular
out
bout.
Brown as well.
Yeah.
But now,
Price,
I don't know if you saw
White.
today, because now that Klitschko's still
16
talking about
rounds,
coming
yeah.
back. I think DAZN are trying to pick him up. And David Price was on TalkSport today saying, "Yeah, I'll come back and be his comeback fight."
Yeah.
God, can you imagine?
Yeah.
That geezer was still doing
Easy.
without a training camp.
Just
He's still fitter
spark
than
him out,
he's
man.
still
Just
fitter than David
spark him
Price
out, man.
now, and he hasn't done a training camp.
David Hayes should come back and fight him.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That would be the thing. It's like, so you've only got 2 rounds in you for your like respiratory system. I've got about 90 seconds because of my Achilles. Let's just go for it.
One hand behind the back. Just right hands all the way.
Or they can just do that fighting. You know the ones that you see the training videos where they have the tyre. You both put one foot in, and no one can step out,
Can't move.
That's the
and
one.
we'll just see who wins. Because Price genuinely, he looks tired just holding his hands up now.
I don't even understand. Like, all he's doing is that 1-2. That's all he wants to do. Just do it. Just do it. Like, just do it over and over again.
This whole thing done him a favour though, did really and truly. It's done him a
That
favour.
could have been a massive banana skin.
It's not even just
If he
that.
did-
It's
if
not
he
even
lost.
just that. It's not even just that. It just gets him another fight. Really, it's simple as that. Everyone keeps talking about, oh, I want to see Price again. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But his last 2 fights have
I was
been
gonna say,
shit.
is this been done deliberately? Because Tom Little got mugged off badly.
Yeah.
exactly.
He got stopped when he had his hands up covering his face.
Yeah.
He's like, the rest of it, you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. No.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
How has David Price had so many fights though since his career finished? Like,
Tale of two
He's
careers.
had
One
about
that was
6 or
alright and
7
then one
But
fights.
that...
he gets runs off of losing. Like
Yeah, I know.
Povetkin. Oh, hang on.
No, but before
Throw over this
Povetkin,
geezer.
did he fight at Brentwood?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
you
You
went to
lot-
that,
you
didn't
lot
you?
saw
He was
it.
pretty poor there
You
against
lot saw
Liverpool.
him.
That was a
Shit.
4-rounder as well.
Terrible.
And the last round, he was basically sitting
That
on the
was
bottom
the,
rope.
I don't even think he won that fight. I personally didn't give it to him.
So he
That
was
was the-
finished then.
I
Yeah.
thought he was finishing. I gave it to the other guy, the Polish guy.
I remember watching that. It was one of their first MTK
Yeah, it was on
YouTube
MyFL.
streams.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, and it didn't even look like the referee was like keeping score. Because he's just like, oh, Price is going to knock him out in a minute. Then they got to the end of the 4th and they're like, who's won it? He's like, oh, fuck.
That wasn't counting.
Don't even know what corner he's in. The big guy.
yeah, a good big un beats a it beats a good little.
Who did he fight before that? Who did he?
What, the Tony Thompson ones?
No, because
No.
he lost to the drugs cheats.
The
Oh.
European fella.
Go on.
Igashaf from that.
Oh, David.
Trying it out again.
You should have stayed at home, mate.
You can tell David we got him up from a nap.
Fuck me.
Massively, man.
Right, so David
Lost
Price.
to Hamer, wasn't it?
Oh yes.
Or was it that one? No, was it? Maybe it wasn't.
There's no disgrace in losing to Povetkin.
No.
Do you know what though?
Even though he should have won.
So that fight, that was at the Brentwood. That was against Kamil Sokolowski, which is the guy that Lucas Brown just fought, and I think he lost that one.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not that bad of a loss, but he just looked terrible. And like we said, the fact I'm sure it was a 4-rounder that fight.
Yeah, it was. I think it was
But then before that,
6 rounders.
Oh, the Christian Hammer fight on the Eubank Junior undercard.
Mm.
Yeah, when he got knocked out because he just couldn't stand up anymore. I don't even think he got hit. He was just too
That was
tired
horrible
to stand
watch,
up.
wasn't it? We could just see it all happening in slow motion. Oh no!
It started off.
He's run out again.
It started off in slow motion. It was like when you're driving your car and you see the petrol meter, it just goes, and then it starts flashing. It's like, oh, you're really empty.
And he lost to Kuzmin as well after Povetkin.
That was a strange, wasn't that when he just said his arm hurt? Oh, that sounds really patronising. When his arm came out of the socket or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a strange retirement.
I know we're sitting here having a good giggle, but he'll be back, mate. He'll be back.
Just looking for his record now, he's not had a good win.
I was waiting for that sentence to finish, but it has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the end of it. He hasn't had a good win.
Like since he was 15-0 and he beat Harrison and Skelton back to back, which is always hard to do. Sexton before that, and McDermott and Tom Dallas.
Right,
Those
so I
best
mean,
wins.
ultimately, David Price is a domestic level fighter, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, because he's been slapped back down at European level.
But I think it was because he just cleaned up domestic, didn't he? He seemed like he was above that.
I think our domestic level at that point was at a very
Poor.
dubious. We were talking about who we like Rogan and
Everyone was
Sexton
aging.
and stuff
Everyone
like
was
that.
aging
Yeah,
fighters at the time.
like I
How
said,
have him and Chisora not fought each other?
Yeah.
They're going to do that at some stage, aren't
They
they?
should do it next.
listen, bring it on. Like Chisora now, war Chisora.
He's got no chance against Chisora, has he?
I know, but fuck it.
Listen, if you can do 4 rounds of boxing, I'd put my money on you. That's where I'm at with David Price now.
But that big right-handed doesn't even... It's not even happening,
It's
is
waiting
it?
for that right hand detonate, isn't it?
But I don't even think...
The thing is, I've just looked for his record and I don't think it's ever detonated on anybody good.
It has. It has. When he was 15-0, mate, he was dropping them bombs, mate. But he got
Dwight's
blown-
defending it because Dwight was a mad Price. He was the one that told me about David Price. He's like, yeah, this guy's coming up.
He was
Start
blowing people out
watching
though.
it.
He was blowing people out until he got blown out himself.
And he's now at the point where you could blow him
No,
over.
they weren't, he didn't get blown out. He blew up. You know what I mean? He was like, hold on.
Fucking suicide
I've used
vest.
I've used all my best punching. Right, what am I gonna do now? I'm just gonna fall over. Fuck it, I'm done.
Do you think someone told him that's what boxing is?
It's like when you get knocked down, just look as lazy as possible, please.
Yeah.
He lies down flat on his back, doesn't he?
I felt really bad because there was a load of pictures that go around. It seems to be when he gets knocked out, someone gets a brilliant picture of him. So like there was one the other day where his head was underneath the corner turnbuckle, and it just looked like his head was this massive oblong cone. Yeah, he
That's a
gets
good one.
terrible knockouts. And,
That's yeah.
do you know what? I feel bad. Like we've been
It's harsh, man.
we've been harsh to
hammering
him.
But at the
This
same
thing
time,
is
a couple of
Olympian,
months ago,
former Olympian, everything. You just think he was in the way he was going about his business. Is like when he first turned pro. You thought nothing. You thought all you thought was he was going to go to the top. That's all
I
you
just
thought.
think
Well,
everybody said it about him. I just feel personally it's
size and
all
everything,
psychological.
He was gonna dominate. That's
That
what
was
we all
it.
thought.
We all
Look
thought
at
it.
the size of this guy.
Mm.
And then Thompson wasn't afraid. He came out, caught him in the rematch. He was like, "I'm going to do exactly the same," and he did it. And I just Price was broken at that point. He was never going to come back from that.
Yeah, and and to be honest, he hasn't fought at the same level since.
So I said, for me, he's a domestic fighter.
Yeah, he's the best of the domestic at the moment.
Crazy.
Now,
Well, at the moment, he's
Yes.
above
Cash alley.
Cash Alley. Yeah,
He's better.
below
He's
Dave
better.
Allen.
Is he better than Dubois? I don't think.
no,
he is.
these boys
more
will
of a
spark him out now.
he's more of a name.
He's
Listen,
not-
David
he's
Price
not
now.
better. He's not better,
David
man.
Price is now the equivalent of the guys that he was beating up and he was coming up.
Yeah.
The Rogans, the Sextons. That's where he is at now.
Yeah, Harrison.
The Matt Skelton. Like, I used to love watching Matt Skelton.
Yeah.
But that was a guy who's just like, yeah, I used to be like was it a K2 fighter?
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
44 already.
Mm.
I weigh 20 stone, and I didn't train,
Fuck it.
and I don't
No shit.
give a fuck.
We called him the Bear.
He
Yeah.
didn't care. He literally didn't care. But he came out and like you'd watch him, you'd be like, I can get behind this guy though. And he just seemed just honest. It's just like this is what it is,
Exactly.
and he just give it his best.
Rough up the opponent, and that was it, mate. Spot for a few punches.
But yeah, Price doesn't even give you that now. Like I said, I'm sure he's the really nice guy that everyone wants to speak to. But in the ring now, I've got no interest because you know that you've got 2 or 3 rounds, not even flat out.
Yeah, but
2 or 3 rounds
let's be
of
honest.
standard boxing.
Let's be honest. When Price is fighting, no, you're gonna watch it, aren't you? Hands down.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You're gonna watch it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
not
but-
for the reason I should
You're
be.
gonna watch it though.
But are we watching it now just to see him get knocked out?
Yeah, this is like.
But you're watching it. You're watching it.
We're not even watching him to knock someone out anymore, because that
This
doesn't
is
happen.
snuff now. I'm watching it like, is this going to be a sickener? Oh.
Yeah.
You know, watch them
Do you wanna
YouTube
see a
videos
bad-
where people
Can
fall
you,
off the
like,
bikes and shit.
People, as long as people watch me, I don't care. It's like they're only watching you now to get knocked out.
Forget why he
To see the
forget
giant
why
drop.
he gets in the ring, because obviously he must wake up and think to himself, okay, I got confidence. I can do something. I can still
I
do
see
something.
pride.
I
see power.
He's a badass mother who don't take no BS from no one.
But in his Scouse accent though.
Yeah,
Lad.
exactly.
Lad.
Lad, yeah.
I see pride, la. Terrible accent, but I tried. But
he must have the confidence to he must have confidence in him to get back in the ring and think he's gonna actually do something. But it's just that I don't know, why do they keep putting him on?
mate, his mates.
Matchroom.
This is the situation, right? Where, you know, if you're a recording artist and you make a shit song but your friends don't tell you. This is him now. You got Tony Boyo out there screaming, "Don't worry about it. You come back again. You'll do this. You'll do that."
Yeah, but
It's
he's
like,
getting paid,
stop
isn't he?
fucking gassing him up.
Yeah.
But it's because he's 3 fights away from being talked about world titles again. Well,
Every
we know
Matchroom
that. We
fight
know
is
that
3
again.
fights away.
Because he doesn't beat any of the people he's...
If he let's say right, next 3
He
fights.
can't win 3 fights in a row.
Let's say next 3. Let's say next 3
Let's get
fights.
through 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Dave Allen, Chisora.
Loses all of these. So let's
Well, best case scenario, he wins. Dave Allen,
Best case scenario.
Chisora,
Joshua,
and then
best
who?
case scenario,
Third?
he wins.
Who's
Or
third?
the rematch with Ali.
Who's third?
The rematch with Ali.
Allen, Chisora. Third fight being
Fuck it, you may as well fight Rocky Marciano.
Ortiz.
What we're talking about here.
Ortiz.
Gets
And if
fucked
he's-
up.
No, he's just thrown out Ortiz. I'm just saying.
Just
Three
go home.
fights from
Just
now,
go
he's
home.
in,
Fucked out.
people start talking about him
He gets to
again.
the first. He gets to his first opponent, Alan. Bang.
You're not listening.
Job done, mate. Job done.
You're not listening.
Does anyone
3
even get
fights.
credit by
If he
beating him?
wins 3 fights, he's back up.
If he
to what
wins,
everyone talks
if
about
he
him.
wins,
Yeah, but
it's
it's
not.
That's why he gets all these fights. It's because in 3 fights, people will be talking about him under Fury, Wilder.
No,
They will be.
No.
No.
You're
No.
telling me if he
But that's
beat,
not saying
if he
anything.
beat,
That's not saying
if he
Cash
beat-
Ali did that.
Exactly. You know. He
He's
can
not-
fight
he's not-
Joshua.
if those 3 names, Chisora, Dave Allen, not so much, but Chisora and Ortiz, if one fighter goes and fights and beats both of them,
Oh my!
why aren't
Can
they,
we stop this?
Why aren't they talked
Yeah, but
about?
that's, they would be, but he's
But-
not going to do any of that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He's capable.
No,
He's
He's not.
6'9" and he can actually
doesn't.
knock people
I
out.
can't.
He can.
When?
We've seen that.
When?
the entire time that we have been here, like recording,
He's
ever, like in however many
He
years,
hasn't listened to what we're saying.
this is the worst thing you've ever said.
No, I'm saying it's heavyweight boxing. If he beats 3 people,
Oh, fuck. Now you're
2
Eddie-
of them
you're
being
Eddie
the
Hearn
last
now.
2,
Yeah.
why wouldn't he be talked about? Why wouldn't he?
Well, let's
Well,
just throw Audley
why
Anderson
would-
in the mix then and say
Why would
anything
he-
about him.
If he came back and he beat Chisora, Alan, Harrison will be back on for a title shot. He's got potential.
Dillian White beats
Former
Chisora.
Don't change the subject now.
Say he fights Ortiz.
Oh my god.
But Dylan White has only lost to Joshua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Who's David
losses
Price
don't
lost
mean
to?
that doesn't matter. Losses are.
So it doesn't
happens in
matter. It
boxing.
doesn't matter if you lose.
No, it doesn't. You telling me that every heavyweight world champions never lost?
Not 5 times, not 5-6 times.
At that level,
Exactly.
he's not even 41 good yet.
Doesn't look. I'm just saying.
You can't get past the European level.
He's
You can't get past the
he's
European
talked-
level. So,
he's
so how
talked
can
about-
he get to world level?
he's talked about, and if he wins 3 fights,
Talked about
he
who?
could be talked about in world.
Who's he talked about?
This is what I'm saying. So Dave
He's
Allen,
relevant, but because
He's
he
not.
keeps getting fights.
Yeah, no,
Of
he
course
is,
he
but
is.
he's not though, is he?
But he is.
No,
He
he's
is
not.
getting fights.
No, he's getting fights.
He
but
got
he's not
Povetkin.
relevant.
It's just to put on the show.
And if he'd
Yeah,
have
but he
beaten
keeps
Povetkin,
losing.
It
who
just-
would he have been talked about?
It's just to put on the show.
But he lost.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They give him an opportunity.
So okay.
He
so
takes his opportunities.
It's okay. If
You're telling me he doesn't get a
beat
world-
Povetkin,
well-
if he would have beaten Povetkin, would he have fought Joshua next? Do you reckon they would have put him with Joshua?
Would he have fought at a world
Well,
level?
that was the question. Would he have fought Joshua next?
No, I don't know.
Can we move on? I can't believe.
I don't
I
get-
can't
I don't
believe.
get- I don't
It's
get
entertaining me.
what-
It's entertaining me, man.
I don't get what this is. I think
I think that's the problem. You don't get this.
no.
Please don't start again.
No,
Please.
You lot are laughing it off, but it's the same as if
No, it's not.
Fuck it. If Price
what you're
fought
saying,
Joshua, Wilder,
if Joe Joyce
Ortiz,
goes from
and Eddie Hearn, people would talk about
English
it.
British level, fights 3 fights, last one being knocking out Ortiz, you're telling me he wouldn't be talked about world level?
Yeah,
But we could say that about
Yeah, but he
absolutely anybody.
But
But he's British level at the moment.
But he's sparking
British
everyone.
level.
He's sparking people
He's
up.
had
though.
5 fights.
He's sparking people
At least
up.
David Price got to 15 and lost. Just because Joe Joyce has knocked out 5 people,
But he's
3
lost.
fights from now he could be world title. Talked about world title, but David Price can't be because he's got 5 or 6
The
losses.
opponents that Joe Joyce has fought, I would say, are probably better than any of the opponents that Price has fought. Anyway,
1. I mean, it's
Do you, but do, what, no, I think what we're saying is
Shut up.
no, we're not.
No, I'm not.
No, we're not, but
I'm
what you're saying
joking.
is-
I'm joking.
Yeah, you're right, but it's just got no chance of happening.
No, but that's what I was saying is he's relevant and he's always going to stay relevant if he wins 1 or 2 and then gets to the 3rd fight and it's the
The same
potential
fights
for
Dave Allen. Do you
after
really
that.
think Dave Allen?
Do I think Dave Allen's good enough? No.
No. But do you
But
think
if
Dave
he
Allen
won
gets
3 fights against 3
No.
decent
What I mean
fighters,
is like Dave Allen fights Price next, assuming he beats Lucas Brown. Do you give Dave Allen any credit for beating David Price?
I don't know.
Do you
It's
think?
the
Do you
same-
actually think,
the
like
same
compared
as
to
if-
say 3 years ago, does it actually add anything to his record? Because I think most people would expect him to just survive for 4 rounds and then.
I don't know.
Oh.
The thing is with Dave Allen, I don't know because I don't know where I stand with him at the moment. The two times I've seen him, I've never thought he was a great boxer.
Do you think David
Do
Price
I think-
beats him?
I think David Price is a better boxer. I think Dave Allen. I don't know what Dave Allen does. I couldn't tell you how good Dave Allen is because I don't think he's fantastic.
look, put this
David
way.
Price can box. We all know he can box.
I rated Price.
He just hasn't got a thing.
I rated Price, but like we just said, I think if you look at it deep down, as soon as he's got up to European level, he's been slapped back down, and he's been slapped back down hard. Not even like he nearly won or it was close.
We're not even getting decisions. We're getting knockouts.
We're getting knocked. He's fought one. Okay, I'll take it back earlier what I said because he has fought Povetkin, and okay, fair enough. He got beat.
He gave it his best shot.
He gave it his best and he got beat. But if you're talking about compared to like Joe Joyce and that, he's fighting at world level, and he hasn't lost at world level.
Now David Price was at that level. Whenever it was, like 6 years ago.
6 years ago, yeah.
Well, he fought Tony Thompson 2013
Yeah.
twice in that year. Until that point, he was the next big thing.
The next big thing, yeah.
But from then, he's been nowhere near it. Nowhere near the top level. So he's been nowhere near the elite of the sport for more than 5 years.
And I agree with you. Like I think he is a name, but I just don't think he should be a name anymore. I don't
No,
really think
I
anyone
don't think
gets
he
any
should
credit.
be either. I don't. My point was the fact that he's like I think someone said about the fact that he keeps getting fights. It's because he's always got the potential
To be knocked out.
To not even that. There was a hype behind him before. Up to 15, there was a hype. Size, he could box, he could bang people out. That's always going to be with him because of his size and the fact that he can box. If he put a run together, and it is those. Let's be honest, those are well achievable names that he could fight potentially. Let's say I'm saying potentially win. Do I think he could beat Dave Allen? Yeah, of course I do. Do I think he could beat Chisora? He's a heavyweight boxer. Of course he can. Can he beat Ortiz? Boxer's chance. Do you know what I mean? It's those sort of things.
Yeah.
But the fact is, would he? Probably not. No. But the fact, like the point I'm trying to say is, all it takes is for him to be 4 fights under his belt, and people will talk about him. Eddie Hearn put the massive train right behind him, and all of a sudden we're going to watch him in America fighting some shit cunt.
I think he's got no chance of beating David.
No, I don't. No, I'm not saying he does beat any of them, but I'm just like all it is 3 fights for him.
It's irrelevant, man.
Do you know what I'd do if I was Eddie Hearn right now? I'd put him in with Okoli. Because Okoli wants to step up to heavyweight already now. Fuck it.
Why does he want to step up to heavyweight when he hasn't proved it? cruiser.
because there's an opportunity coming up for a world title fight for him. He's kind of half called out Lebedev, who was champion recess. I think it's WBA, and Usyk's now officially stepped up, so that belt has gone back, and that's the fight that can be made now, Lebedev versus Okoli at heavyweight. So that would be for a world title.
That's at heavyweight.
That's where the belt is. Or have I just made it?
I think we might have made that up.
It's cruiserweight, isn't it?
It's cruiserweight.
It's cruiserweight. Sorry, the cruiserweight. But yeah, fuck it. I'd just let him fight Price because I just think he'd spark him out.
Yeah.
But then like what Sean said, does that add any value to his record? Is that
Not to Price.
I mean, for Okoli.
I think we're at the point now where
What does that do for Okoli?
I think if you're a bona fide heavyweight, I think beating Price now is not a big thing. But I think if you're a cruiserweight stepping up and you're a novice in your career, that's a scalp. Because it's one of them ones where we always say when you look back on the records, it would just say he had beaten, and everyone would go, "Oh, I know who David Price is." And it's an easy sell. Let's be honest.
I think, like you just said, I think the only reason Price is getting these fights is because he's an easy sell. He's an easy sell.
Especially in places like Liverpool, Manchester and whatnot. You're going to get people that it's not far to travel.
It's easy to put him on. It's easy to put him on cards. People still like him.
That's it. And when you've got Callum Smith, who's going to be bound to be fighting soon, you've got Liam Smith obviously in the camp as well now.
Yeah.
It's going to be easy to bang the three of them all on the same card, isn't it?
It's easy enough for him to get on the cards and that, but I just personally think that he's not going to get. I think he's just there as a punching bag, really, to be honest. And that's unfortunate to say.
I was going to say that's a shame. That's a shame
because where he was in the past, I thought he was going to go on and do something good, like, you know.
I hope they just don't put him in with someone like the problem with Okoli is Okoli's pretty big, like you don't really want to see Price get badly hurt by someone just because you just got to put him in with people who can't punch.
But when you're all weighing like 18, 19 stone, they can all bang.
And so like, people who can't punch have hurt him as well. Like, people who don't really knock people out have knocked him out.
So who have Matchroom got in the heavyweights? They haven't got anyone else.
It's in everything. Alan White and Joshua.
See,
and like I said, Okoli's 100% going to step up at some point.
There's no point putting him in any of those. Let's be honest. If you're trying to put him on cards and actually like you're going to have a bit of responsibility to look after him a little bit. Like you can't just chuck him.
Yeah,
in
this is that kind of Don King mentality. You know, it's like put him in if he dies, he dies sort of thing.
Yeah,
Joe Joyce would be the worst one, I think, because Joe Joyce will just walk straight towards him and just start throwing punches. He'll get caught with loads, but he'll just.
And as
at least other people stand off Price a little bit, and
as we've seen with Joyce, he obviously hits hard.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, if you look at it, all of those guys coming up, they just destroy him.
That's it. Even people like Gorman, these guys are they're going to walk through him now.
Wow, do you know what I mean? They just.
Like I said, I feel for him because he's someone that I really did warm to, like as he was coming up.
And
he was an easy person to get behind. He was a likeable guy. He spoke really well, and he was getting knockouts, so it was an easy sell for all of us. So I think we've all got that kind of legacy love for him as a fighter. But you're at the point now where you just think, mate, I need just to not be doing this anymore. But Matchroom, we're just going to string it along until he can't physically get in the ring anymore, I reckon. Which is like any normal 4-round fight. What else on that card? They had the Natasha Jonas fight, which do you know what? Like women's boxing is really struggling right now to get a foothold.
It was
and fights like this are not helping. I know it was a comeback fight for her, obviously after her loss last year. But Jesus, man, you need to.
But who do they pick? The woman she was fighting. Wow,
this is always the problem with women's boxing. I mean, I don't really like women's boxing.
And to be fair, it's not. You've always said that.
It's literally only the world champions that are worth watching.
I can't warm to it, man.
But it's the people you don't know everyone.
No,
that's not their fault.
No. But it's literally the only ones that have actually got any skill are the world champions. Like Natasha Jonas, her opponent could have gotten a free seat and just picked out of the crowd.
Yeah.
Like fuck me.
My problem is, I know they're obviously trying to raise the platform of women's boxing, which needs to be done because we need to get it to a point like women's football where they can get it so it's it's going to take a long time to get it on an equal footing if at all, but they need to build it better than this. So for me, that fight shouldn't have been that late in the card.
No,
It should have been much earlier on.
it was a terrible.
Because that's the thing, you get to
Fight.
the point where it's if it's on early and you miss it, you think, oh, it's a bit bad.
Mm.
But I think if it's on in the middle of the night and no one's paying attention to it, you become apathetic towards women's boxing. You think, I actually don't care now.
Mm.
It's actually there, and I'm making a
I'd
decision
rather
to not watch this.
I'd rather, because it was boring and it was shocking.
Until you get them to a point where they are fighting recognisable names, and if not recognisable, they're in genuine 50-50 fights early on in the card,
Yeah.
man.
If
The
that
same
was-
as you
if
would
that
have
was-
any prospect.
If that was a,
You
if
won't
that
get
was
50-50 fights though, because
the good ones are that far.
Matchroom aren't going to sign someone who's in a 50-50 fight because there's not enough good fighters.
Yeah.
So they're only going to sign the best ones. So until they're only going to be 50-50 fights, so maybe like 2 or 3 fighters. You're never going to get 50-50
If
fights.
that was
regularly.
if that was a men's fight, that would have been like someone who's gone and done 12 years of training being thrown in with someone who's just picked it up over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. The lady that was in with Jonas was a complete and utter amateur.
Yeah.
Like, just didn't know what she was doing. She was. It was one
Well,
point where I
well,
thought she was
that's the-
crying when she got hit.
If that's the case though, why wasn't it? Why wasn't it a better fight?
Yeah,
Why
like-
wasn't it?
like-
Why was it so? Why wasn't it clear cut? I got to be honest with you guys. That I watched the first minute of the first round, and I got up and done something else. Like, to be honest, I just couldn't be bothered.
Wow, there's only 2-minute rounds as well. That's like zero patience.
I just couldn't be bothered. I just couldn't be bothered. I've said it in the past. Like, I haven't actually warmed to it. And I haven't got the patience to.
Mm.
You know, when you watch so much boxing, you think to yourself,
Just so poor.
I haven't got the patience for this.
I
get
would
that.
have quite easily have watched 2 amateurs just tear into each other, then watch that. And that's supposed to be paid ranks, paid pros. No, that was rubbish.
Alright, so we'll move on from that. We had one more question coming because we've hit the hour mark, so we will. I think it's a good one to end on. Now, I've got the benefit of having them in front of me, so I'll be putting you guys on the spot here. And it's, if you looked at all the champions across the 4 main governing bodies, which body has the strongest champions?
I don't know, man. I think WBC's got the weakest.
Well, looking at this here, right, obviously I said I've got the benefit of being able to look at this.
All the divisions.
Heavyweight and cruiserweight are pretty much sewn up anyway.
They're the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you've got Joshua's got the majority and Usyk's got the majority below that.
WBO. That's my guess.
Okay.
Because you got Crawford.
Yep.
You got Nue.
Yep. And Lomachenko.
Yeah. Aram likes WBO, doesn't he?
Yeah, same as Warren. That's a really good one. Actually, I'll tell you what, right? I'd like to go away and have a look at that and come back next week. And see.
How's the IBO looking?
Oh, do you know what? Right, so I'm
few
looking on
dedicated
Wiki- One
as
champion at the
it-
moment.
I'm looking on Wikipedia and it doesn't actually show the IBO.
It's not even recognised, man. On there.
WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO. It's even got the Ring magazine, but no.
Has it got the
IBO.
WB silver belts? Like, who's the champions of them?
Oh yeah, I wonder. Oh no, it's not. No, it hasn't got that.
Yeah.
We all love those WBC silver.
Intercontinentals?
And continental now as well.
And
We've got intercontinental and
Yeah.
continental.
So what's the difference between a continental and a European?
Depends on which continent we were talking about.
Europe?
Probably about 10 grand in sanction fees.
Yeah.
It's just, I hate that shit. I really hate it.
But WBO's got to be up there, though, doesn't it? Considering it's supposedly the 4th best.
Yeah, because Joshua's got
well,
it.
yeah, it was the last to become
yeah.
the recognised.
Kovalev.
Yeah,
Oh, take it back.
but then you got
Ramirez, super middleweight.
Maurice Hooker,
Middleweight.
Crawford,
Okay, middleweight.
Mungaya. Yeah, it's fairly strong.
Malunga.
Who was that, right?
Not Malunga.
Huh?
You got Hooker.
Makubu.
Like, Hooker's got it. Yeah, no, I will agree with you, WBO.
Yeah, it looks strong. just like you just long for the days where it would have just been there's just one thing
One
where
champion.
I love that question, but it's not. How amazing would it be if that wasn't a question? It was just these are the champions.
Yeah.
This is what we
the
thought.
only thing then, and then it's like there's the argument against it. You're only gonna have like a few world title
2 fights a year in each division.
for a world title.
But that person
but
would
is
be
it-
the best.
But is there
doesn't it just
anything
win
wrong
it,
with
isn't
that? Is there anything wrong with that? Like only having 2 world? Because you think about all the other fighters, they have to fight to get to the top, innit? So like there'll be less.
Well, heavyweights is pretty much that now anyway.
Everyone sort of has to meet each other
Yeah.
just to get to the top. So
Yeah.
it'll be more. There'll be
Eventually-
more scraps. It'll be better scraps. Won't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Eventually, it
To get
does
number
go to that.
Everyone has to filter in. Everyone has to
one
bottleneck
person.
into.
It's what
into
everyone's.
the top.
It says it's that kind of UFC model, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where they obviously got that.
But it's just if
that
you're like
planning
10th,
perfectly.
if you're just like 10th,
How do you jump up?
yeah.
You're
When
waiting.
there's the other people ahead of you and that thing.
This is that one.
No,
Do you
what's
give
the
you play those
accountability?
boxing
What's
games
the
where you
cut?
have to challenge the people above you?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like he's 6. So yeah, I reckon I can take him.
Yeah.
And then
You'd
if you
always
win,
go,
you take
you'd
his
always go
spot.
for the highest fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going for the highest one. I'm going for.
It's like I can take his spot if I win it.
Yeah.
What about like obviously when you get an undisputed heavyweight champion is good, but it's like in every other weight division. Usually when you get an undisputed champion, they just move up.
Yeah.
So what is the point?
I reckon there should be a
True.
circular motion, so the heavyweight should just cycle all the way around to strawweight.
Yeah. So it's
Oh,
like
can you
if
imagine?
we just had one belt in each division, would it mean that more people move up in weight quicker, or would they defend their sort of like?
I think you would, because it's like I've done this.
Yeah.
What's next?
True.
Who can I go for?
But then do they skip ahead of?
Nah, fuck it. You go straight in
the
at the bottom, man.
the 9 geezers in front of them.
Nah, you go straight in at the bottom.
Maybe they should say you have to defend it. You have to defend it at least 5 times before you can move up and fight in the top 10 in the next division.
All right.
No, yeah,
That'll keep him
that'd be
going.
decent.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good rule.
I like that.
Yeah, that would be a best shout.
You wouldn't have any Charles Martin
Or
champions or anything like that, then, would you?
Yeah, well that's it. Or have like 2 belts, but
No, we're starting it again now. This is probably what they said last time.
What's
Yeah.
the second one?
It's
it's
an
like
interim.
divisions. So like, I don't know, like the 10 to 20 go for this belt, and
Oh my
10
god,
to 1
he's doing
go
it
to
like the
this belt.
Scottish
Premier League.
Where it splits halfway through.
Going to playoffs, 10 versus 1, then the winner of the 20. Like a tournament for each one.
Okay.
Nah.
Just draw balls on who's going to fight who.
It's a lottery.
No, I don't like that idea.
Nah, I'm thinking about that. Nah, that's shit.
So I think UFC, they've got it spot on at the minute, haven't they? The way that it's just everybody's in that weight. There's one belt, and everybody's aiming for that champion.
The
And
problem
you
is though.
have to get wins to get up to there.
Yeah, but do you know what the problem is? Is that in boxing you can build a resume of more wins without having to fight, without your reputation having to be destroyed. Like in UFC, you get to the top. If you keep winning, you get to the top and you get your fight. When you're boxing, you can keep winning. You can get like loads and loads of wins, and the hype builds more. I reckon in boxing,
Well, it does, but I feel that in UFC, a loss it's not career defining.
it's not.
People lose and go on to be dominant champions. Which
Yeah,
is in
loss
boxing,
a loss
you
is
get
nothing to them, is it?
when you lose in boxing, you just kind of get brushed aside unless you're a special kind of personality or a special talent. It's like for how many, like Amir Khan when he got blasted out by Prescott, how many people in his situation did they tout to do really well? They got blasted out and they were like, fuck him.
Did you see that Amir Khan and Crawford thing about the Prescott comment?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So I'm looking forward to that. So I suppose we'll be starting to build up for that probably next week.
Yeah.
To start looking at that. BT are doing not an all access, but like a training TV program. Have you seen it?
No, is it good?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm hoping it's going to be like warts and all and really, really good. They're basically going to show pretty much everything these guys have to do in camp to get themselves into shape for a fight. And I was saying on Twitter that if they get this right, it's going to be one of the best boxing shows that there is, because people don't really understand. Like, we speak to these fighters, what they put themselves through to be ready for a fight night. Imagine like these elite level guys that have these 12-week camps, and it's so scientific now so that they're ready for that particular date. And like if you're at the top level like your Alvarez's and you got to take in your cycles and all that sort of stuff, then he didn't buy it for that.
just wonder, like, Amir Khan's, like, his resume is amazing, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, I know he loses, but just thinking, like, you'd never think Canelo would fight Terence Crawford.
No.
And you think Amir Khan's going to end up having fought both of them.
Yeah, Khan's quite fortunate that he can get around those weights. I think where Canelo is, he's at the very bottom of where he can get to, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he could finish up very easily cruiserweight probably by the time he's in his 30s.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go on, like, to mid-late 30s.
I don't think he will, because he's got so much money.
Yeah.
And he turned pro at, 14 or something, 15.
Yeah.
By the time he was 16, 17, he'd already had like 18 fights. He's not going to be fighting 20. How many fights would he have had by the time he's like 35? He would have been...
He's had 50...
So I mean, we're not having the
really?
days of people having 80 fights. I mean, I know he only fights like twice a year now, maybe 3 times a year if it's going to be a bit of a walkover. But
And he's an exception as well. I mean, usually, because he was so young when he made it to the top, that usually someone his age from that background probably would have had another 20 fights before he made it to the top.
But yeah, again, so with him, I mean, he's already got the resumes on the CV. He's already got the money in the bank. I reckon once the DAZN thing's done, that'll be him out. So what is it? 10 fights he's got. Was it that deal? 300 mil or 10 fights, like 3 a year or.
Yeah.
So yeah, once that's done,
that's
it. He's out, man. Absolutely fine with that.
Yeah.
Right. Any other business, boys?
No.
Anthony Yard, Kovalev purse bids on Monday.
Oh, it's not going to happen, is it?
Who's getting injured? Who's going to pull out?
I don't know. It's going to have to be Tunde, isn't it? He's going to have to take one for the team here. He's going to have to...
I have decided that Anthony Yard is not going to fight him.
Yeah.
And then he'll roll out some vibrations of the universe line.
How do you reckon it's going to go then? Because we're only like...
It's not going to happen. It's not going to get to purse bids. It's not going to happen. I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, Warren...
But how are they going to get out of it?
I wouldn't even be surprised if they go into the purse bids and he puts in a fucking massive offer and just says, we're not going to have this fight. You know, just they would actually literally pay the money so that he doesn't have to fight him. If Yard fights
What's
him
the
now...
split though?
So he'll be going in as mandatory, won't he? So it'll be like 75-25 at most, I think, isn't it?
Interesting.
Like I said, for me, the fact that...
But can they make enough... Can they make enough money?
The fact
It's just
that
whether
you've
they
got
might be able to.
Tunde saying we're the A side and all that, like it's...
But they're talking about... The other side are saying they want to put it on in Russia.
Yeah.
And you just think, with Frank Warren, with his cut, can he afford to pay
Not to do it.
3 or 4 times as much as they're willing to for like one of his main men?
So do you think it could end up happening almost by default because you can't
It's just
get
whether or
out
not
of it?
that... no, because you can get out of it, I guess. But it's whether or not he
pay
wants
himself some step aside money.
It's just whether or not he's going to back him, because I think that's pay-per-view, isn't it?
Well,
It
his
has to
main-
be.
Not if it's in Russia,
one
it's
of his,
not.
one of his
No, I mean,
main-
if he wants to win the purse bid, it's got to be pay-per-view, and if he wants to win the purse bid, Andy Yard is one of his main men, so...
he's got
he's
it's
got to
his
back him.
first world title. He's got to back him with a pay-per-view event.
Right, so question for you. I'm not going to ask Dwight because I know that Dwight's a big Kovalev fan, so I know where Dwight's at on this. In fact, no, you won't. You'd be Team Kovalev on this, so you would back him to win this.
Oh, what do you mean, like Team Kovalev?
Like, not
Who
not
am I-
even
who am I
preference.
cheering on,
Like,
or-
yeah, not even who you'd be cheering. Who would you assume would win this fight?
I would assume that Kovalev would win this fight because
Yes,
because I don't think Yard's there yet. I'm not saying that. I just think because Yard's not there yet. I think Yard's probably a year away from being at that sort of elite, that sort of level with the fighters in that division. I think Yard's about a year away. It's hard because the fighters he's been fighting, it's hard to gauge it on. And they haven't been fantastic.
I'd
fighters,
fancy Batsy's chances more in there than Yard.
Yeah. But I thought we were saying last week. Like,
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, I think Batsy's moved ahead of him, so in a sense. It's only because I don't know. I think Batsy's performances have been a bit better.
I personally, I think you're going to see some world class wheeling dealing now for this to not happen. These are the sort of ones you want to go to the bookies and say, I want to put money on this fight not being made.
The problem they've got though is that they don't want someone else to come and jump the queue
and beat him.
Like you don't want
And
Matchroom to come
push
and
him
slip in and put one of theirs
6-7
in there.
months behind, or not even that, over
Callum
a year.
Johnson jumps in there.
No, I mean that's
That's it.
embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They throw Callum Johnson back in there.
But it all comes down to the thing: is Anthony Yard ready to fight Kovalev right now? In my opinion,
I don't think he is.
no, he's not.
Is it a problem if he loses it?
Not for us. But if you're trying to sell Anthony Yard as Frank Warren, which all they've built him on is that whole, like for him, he's their AJ. If he takes that loss now, that's a big dent to their golden boy.
I think he's got more of a chance of fight. See, if you look at the other fighters in that division, Bivol, I don't think he's good enough to fight Bivol. Bet to Biv, I don't think he's good enough to fight him either. And you got the Ukrainian guy, I can't pronounce his name, Gulkiv or whatever, Gulkatov or whatever. I don't know if I can't pronounce his name. I think he's got more chance of fighting him. I think he's
He's the guy that sparked out.
he beat
Stevenson.
He finally put out to bed, mate. Fucking hell. Ended his reign.
Yeah, he put him to bed for a long time.
Yeah, I know,
Jesus.
Put him in hospital.
Oh yeah, true, he did.
He's still in bed now.
He's alright now. He's alright now. He's touching his toes and that, so he's alright. But yeah, I think he's got a chance against him. But the rest of them, I think he gets beat, man. To be honest,
I just don't.
I don't think he's there yet.
But you say like he's a year away. I just can't see him.
What, progressing?
Yeah.
What could he do in that year
Yeah.
to get him
I just
ready?
think he's
I
got to do
haven't
it.
seen anything different for the last year.
He's not
to
willing
say-
to risk fighting someone in between, is he? Like in between his level and their level.
This is the problem. This is the thing.
And I get that. You don't want to risk it, but then if you might as well do it then.
Yeah.
No, so, yeah. If you got the chance, surely you've worked there,
I'm not
worked enough to get that chance.
I'm not saying he shouldn't take the fight. He's there now, isn't it? He's there, and they've been in that sort of Callum Smith sort of situation, haven't they? They're just waiting for the title shot.
Yeah.
I don't think, but the sense I get is that they're kind of, they are, but they don't want it either because they probably know that it's.
That's it. I feel exactly the same as you.
Yeah.
They've worked their way to this position, but now they hear it's like shit.
Yeah.
I
He
can't
hasn't
really
got
not
enough-
do this now.
He's not a massive fan favourite at the moment. He's not well known.
The last 12 to 18 months, I
I
think, have really hurt him in terms of fanfare.
I don't think. I think fanfare wise, I think that'll change. I think that'll change.
I can't see
If he beats Kovalev, I think that'll just change.
Oh yeah, no. All I'm saying is like for the Kovalev, it'll be a case of.
I don't think fanfare will affect his chances of winning the fight. It'll be just like if he's good enough, he's good enough. Like.
No.
Let me ask you a question, right? Apart from Travis Reeves, who was his last opponent, can you tell me the name of an Anthony Yard opponent?
Sick.
Sekloka.
No. There's he's fought.
Oh, the super middleweight.
Oh yeah, Darius Sek.
Darius Sek, yeah.
And this is a guy that's about his next fight should be for the world title.
Hobbs.
Yeah, so yeah. But it becomes a struggle. You start thinking, why have I elevated him in my mind to this level? And this is where we as boxing fans, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing because I love it as well. We all get caught in this hype.
Yeah. But there's a certain level, isn't it? But maybe like 5-6 fights ago, we were okay to be like that because he was
fighting.
Yeah, he was beating people.
Yeah.
Like as well as he should have, or if not better, at that level.
It's an interesting one. I think I'm in the thing where I think he's got to take his chance because you never know. It could be 2 years down the road where he's still looking for a chance.
I personally think he should take this because I think that Kovalev is going to be the most beatable champion that's going to be around.
You know how to beat him.
But I think someone else is going to beat him if it's not Yard.
Yeah, that's it. And
then Yard might not be able to beat that person.
Exactly. So I think he's got to do. I think like the Joshua thing. I think if Joshua didn't take Charles Martin, he could have been waiting a while to get at anyone else.
But Joshua was clearly good enough though at the time.
Yeah, but
he was clearly good enough at the time.
You know, it's strange for.
It was early for him, but he was good enough.
But
I mean,
I think that's
the thing is though, I think Kovalev needs this fight as well. I think he needs this fight because
I think he'd love this fight.
He needs it.
Bring it on.
He needs it because, like, you think about it, there's no one else for him to fight.
But if you were him, would you not want to come over here and just earn more money?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Do you think
with the strong possibility of winning?
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, he probably goes to fight yard. If he has it in Russia, that's it. I'm done. Homecoming fight. Just that's it. Hang up the gloves. One fight at home. He fights at home, and that's it. Job done.
If that was what he was thinking, then fair enough. Like you can't knock him for doing that. But if he's not, if he's thinking, I'll take the money here and then I'll.
If you think about continuing, then that's different, isn't it? But I honestly don't. How long is he going to carry on? Like who else? What else is going to get motivated for? Unless he wants to fight any of the other Russian.
Yeah.
Well, this is I think this is Yard's problem though, because if them belts start getting unified, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He gets further and further away, which again,
and it's people who are better and better. Like
exactly. He then has to fight potential world fights just to get a chance at having a world title.
I think Bivol and Bettiv, they're signed to the zone, aren't they?
Yeah.
So.
And I think you said it a few weeks ago where he could do a Eubank Junior and have to embarrassingly drop back down to domestic level just to get a decent fight.
But I also said that if he does that, the problem is that those fights are just as dangerous for him right now.
Exactly.
Well,
they're still better than anyone he's fought.
That's what I mean. You're dropping down to Buatsi, you're dropping down to Callum Smith. Sorry, not Callum Smith, Callum Johnson.
Yeah, you're dropping down to a level you never actually got to.
Jose Burton.
That's what I mean. These
I
are all
feel
banana
sorry for
skills, these
Jose
are, man.
Because he's just got no sort of, you don't get any credit. There's
from
no
such
value in beating him.
From such a shit way to lose a fight where he's winning.
Yeah.
He's literally been put back 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Why would you fight Jose Burton now?
Well, that's it. Like, that's a very good fight. It's a hard fight. It's not he can box, man.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, he's for whatever decision he makes, people are going to have an opinion. Yeah. Oh, he's dropping down. Oh, that's not good enough. He's at world level. And then they'll turn around and say, oh, what's he doing taking the fight? Why is he taking too early?
He has to take this fight.
Yeah, but it's going to split
he's
decision.
He's in that position now. That's it. Like, you've put yourself in that position. He has to fight now.
That's 100%. I agree with that.
Is it too early? I think so, but he's there now, so
got to go for it.
He's got to go for it. Simple.
Yeah. Their whole thing when they first come out was saying, oh, we're about levels. I don't want to take backward steps. If I'm good enough to fight, I'm good enough to progress.
Now they're about lions.
And now they're you know, if they were to backtrack on that, then.
But do you not think it's you could argue it both ways, but do you not think it's potentially bad management to say this is the route we're going down, we want to get WBO rankings, and then by the time you get there you're not prepared, even though that was your plan the whole time.
Most definitely.
But then when you look at the financial side of it, he's sort of a face of BT, he's got the Adidas deal, so from a management point of view,
even if he lost, as long as he put in a good show, which he probably will, by all accounts, he probably will put in a good performance.
But when you plan to get somewhere, and then when you get there you're not prepared.
Going
camping without a tent.
But that's it, yeah. 7 years learning all the arts, and then you get there and you think, shit, the most basic thing I need I ain't got. Fuck.
We forgot the camp. Yeah, this whole time we've been shouting lions.
But that's it. Yeah, I think it would be. Well, I think it is a huge mistake, but yeah, no, he's got to take. He's there now. He's got to take the chance.
But it just shuts down that whole argument about like, what's he gonna do? Do you know? He's just got to do it. And then people will be like, fair enough, you're doing it.
Yeah. If he did, I don't want to see him. I do and I don't. I don't want to see him drop down, and only because I think it will take him a year or two to get the chance again. Because I can just see exactly what happened with Callum Smith. He had that opportunity, and then 2 years later, that's when he got his world title shot. Same with was it Eubank Jr. He was on the cusp of being a world title fight with Jacobs, and then 2 years later he's fighting for the IBO.
But he's mad that he's at the stage now where he can fight Kovalev next, and you just think that Kovalev's the champion. Kovalev's a much bigger name. He's been in much bigger fights. He's got a much better
reputation.
Yeah. Just if Kovalev says the fight's in Russia and you're only getting 5%, just go and do it. Like, just go and do it. You've got a chance to fight for a world title. Just go and do it.
Yeah. And yeah, fair. Like, that's what you want. That's what you like. If you want to be a world champion, that's what you want. You want to go and fight for
You
a
should be
world
like,
champion.
yes, I've got the chance to do it.
Yeah, that's what everyone else dreams of. You give it to any of the other lads in and around his level, I'm pretty sure every single one of them would be like, yes, I'll have that fight. Will they win? Probably not, but they'd all jump at the chance. So, yeah. Fingers crossed.
Alright, well, I suppose let's wrap up there and reconvene next week. I've got nothing I'm particularly looking forward to this weekend, so I may go back and just watch some Rocky Marciano videos.
Yeah.
And then we can come back and talk about how great he was next week, like David said.
Yeah.
We're waxing lyrical about Rocky, and he's 49 not out.
49 big wins.
Big wins.
Big wins.
Someone will be putting together a highlight reel for us.
Yeah. Just tag us in. You actually fought this guy.
Okay, right, so we'll wrap up there then. Go over on our SoundCloud and check out our... I don't even know what it's called, right? So we've got a partnership with Big Right Hook where we're doing their audio pieces. So we've got a new one of those up every Sunday, so go check that out. They're doing quite well, actually. I've been meaning to do some BTR introducing, and I've got a couple of people to speak to this week, so hopefully I'll have some new ones up this week. But we'll be back next week, and I suppose we can start talking Crawford Khan.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to it, man.
Lomachenko?
Oh yeah, that's coming up. But
That's probably
How
more
excited
next
are you?
week. Oh, I couldn't give a shit. I genuinely couldn't.
I just want to see Lomachenko in the ring, mate.
That's it.
But yeah, I just want to.
you pay to watch his like training videos, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Just so I'm happy to watch that.
Which it could possibly be. Just
I'm
a
not gonna
training
be
video for
disrespectful,
us.
yeah. Apparently, if you disagree that Quiller's got a chance, and you're just a hater who doesn't really like, understand how boxing works, but
He's got a fighter's chance, but it's like a very shit fighter versus a very good
But
fighter's
you know what?
chance.
If you put him in against Lomachenko, if you put him in against Davis, and then Anthony Joshua as well, people will be talking about him. Let's just leave it at that, Dave.
You're an idiot. Idiot.
All right then, boys. We'll wrap up there, and we'll be back next week. Peace.